Welcome to Totino-Grace High School for Northwest Suburban Conference Wrestling action, as tonight the Crimson of Maple Grove pay a visit here to the Eagles. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Rick Dean, and Rick, the Eagles ranked number 5 right now in Class 2A. Went up against some real tough competition down in Rochester, but obviously this is a team that has designs on getting back into that state tournament.
Yeah, they have been ranked as high as number 2 this year and have some real firepower, especially up top with the seniors Lance Bennick, Kez Flomo, and Isaac Floral. So a fun, exciting group of wrestlers to watch. It should be a fun night.
Maple Grove, too, has a number of returning state entrants on their team. They've been banged up, had some injury troubles. They feel like they're getting closer to having full health, so there definitely should be some good matches along the way.
Yeah, I'm excited. It should be a great night of wrestling. Some good athletes on both sides of the bench, and it should be a fun night.
First season in this Northwest Suburban Conference for Totino-Grace, so some different opponents. I mean, they have faced Maple Grove in the past, but it is kind of interesting to see how things are going to shake up, you know, just as they go throughout this season and face some new opponents and some pretty good ones.
Yeah, I'm excited. It should be some interesting matchups, and I'm ready to get this match started.
All right, Maple Grove and Totino-Grace will do battle next. We'll come back with the start of tonight's match here in just a moment on 12 Sports.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
We start at 106 with Jakesville for Totino-Grace and Texas Tan for Maple Grove.
Field on outside single leg. Drops him down to his butt. That should be 2, Jay.
Gets a quick start here. He had 3 and 3 at the Clash down in Rochester, and Jake slightly over 500 this year as an 8th grader. Texas has won 7 matches, but first year on the varsity and gets taken down quickly. Not only does he have a cool first name, Texas, but his middle name is Typhoon.
And the last name is Tan. I mean,
yeah.
that's a great handle.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Well, Field started the match there with a nice single leg takedown, and Texas was in a tough spot with his legs split there, but did a nice job fighting out of that, not giving up any back points. Field just let him up, gave him the escape, and they're going to start going here from their feet.
So 2-1 now for Jake, and Tan. It can be the good and the bad of, you know, being very long-legged, lanky kind of guy. There's a lot of leg to shoot for, but at the same time, you've got some advantages with being tall like that too.
Yeah, there's a real contrast with the more compact, shorter feel and Texas's longer legs.
Able to sprawl and block that one.
Those long guys are a nightmare on top. Texas doing a nice job with the 3/4 here. He got Jake's Field's head trapped down, and he's applying a lot of pressure. That's not a fun spot to be in. And Field works out their back to their feet.
Jake, the son of Doug Spiel, of course, the longtime Eagles coach.
Another single leg shot by Spiel. Texas is doing a nice job stuffing that head and being heavy with that hip. It's a 50-50 spot here. I don't know that either wrestler has an advantage. Texas wants to keep up. Now he's got him bellied out. He wants to keep being heavy with those hips and applying pressure to that shoulder. It's a stalemate.
Just 10 seconds to go in the period here. That early takedown still standing up for Jake's Field here with a 2-1 lead.
And there's nice trip to a 2-point takedown.
Well, you like to see that when you get, you start over with 10 seconds to go and you're able to get a takedown. You can look at Troy Seibert, the Crimson head coach, and I know they've got a tough opponent here tonight. He said we're just feeling closer to having what will be our regular lineup back. They're still going to be open up top at the heavyweight and 220, but had a lot of injuries, and now just getting some of those guys back.
It's tough to wrestle a season when, especially in the Northwest Suburban Conference, when there's really no free pass. When you're dealing with injuries. Texas needs to get his head off the mat here and get moving. He's got a little short sit. He's doing some hand fighting there. Field's doing a nice job with forward pressure. Looks like he's trying to, he's working in a bar there. You got an arm bar.
Tan's headgear getting in an awkward spot for him right now, but as long as Jake's got something going, they're not going to stop him.
Yeah, and Jake's got that wrist. Let go of the wrist. Oh, there's a lot of pressure there on that neck. He's settling in, looking.
And Jake's Field will get the pin here about midway through the second period. 3:04 the time of the fall as the Eagles jump out to a 6-0 lead. Nice job of finishing here. It didn't seem like he was really dominating. I mean, he was definitely in control, but then.
Yeah, you just got that bar in, and that's a lot of pressure on that shoulder, and you get turned to your back in an arm bar, and that's just a tough spot to be in.
So look at Doug's Field there, the Eagles head guy, and
For Maple Grove, Michael Worley. For Totino-Grace, Connor Dane.
Michael Worley for the Crimson, Connor Dean for Totino.
Dean's in on a quick double leg takedown for 2. Nice quick shot on the whistle.
Worley, first-year varsity wrestler, and Connor, as a 7th grader, has won 12 matches already. So the general consensus from talking to the coaches a little bit was that probably Grace would have the advantage in the first few. And then there were some spots where Maple Grove has pretty, feels like they got a pretty good chance to 26, 32, 38 through that area. And then obviously at the top, they're going to give up some points regardless. And the Eagles are very strong there anyway.
But Totino's an unusual team in that they've got a lot of their firepower and a lot of their best athletes up in the top weights, which a lot of teams struggle to fill those weights. Where Totino has highly ranked kids within the state of Minnesota, some of them nationally, at those weights.
And it was the direct opposite. I remember covering the Eagles back, I suppose maybe, I want to say roughly 10 years ago, where virtually every opponent they faced, they would win, 6 of the first 7 matches. They were great from all the lighter weights through about 145 or so, and then after that, you'd see teams start to rally on them. It's just the luck of the draw sometimes too. I mean, you can't, you can work with your lineup a little bit here and there, but if you don't have it, just where some of the athletes fall into that weight spectrum.
Well, Dean's looks like he's working a cross wrist ride here and trying to. Not a lot of action. The ref says I want to see him get moving a little more. Worley really needs to get a move here off the whistle to try to get an escape and get back to his feet. Dean's got him broken down to his belly again. He's working that cross wrist. Neither wrestler really putting the other one in any danger at this point.
Worley almost started to turn his shoulder the wrong way there and kind of set himself up to be pinned, but realized his mistake. Action heats up. It's kind of like they can sense the end of the period's coming, so they're going hard late. but it's just going to stay with a 2-0 lead. Very quick takedown by Connor Dean to start the first period. Now we say 7th grader, you think young wrestler, but he's been wrestling quite a while, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, most of his life, yep, since he was big enough to walk.
And that's where I always, you see some schools now where guys have come out so late. And not that you never want to discourage that, but at the same time you think, gosh, if you only had a couple more years to work with them, we'd have a lot better chance to get somebody really, because there's, a good athlete can pick up the sport, but some of the finer points, it takes a while.
Wrestling is really technical. It is really, really a technical sport. You might not recognize it from watching it, but just little setups, little movements make the difference between something working and something not.
Yeah, footwork and balance.
Absolutely.
And pressures and
just knowing how your body's supposed to move, how not to pull a guy on top of you or where to apply pressure, where not. We got some hand fighting going on here. Looks like Worley's working a 2-on-1. A little shot, reshot. Oh, a little short arm drag there by Dean. It's a 2-point takedown.
good quick little move there.
Yeah, it's a low risk. The opponent sticks his arm out and you're just able to kind of catch underneath the elbow and give it a tug. And it's a nice little setup. I know it. But same thing here. You like to see Worley moving a little more on the bottom, and you like to see the top guy, Dean, maybe spending a little more time looking for a fall. I mean, he's got him Worley broken flat on the mat, but I think the ref is probably going to look at this for another minute or so. And there you go.
You're on the same wavelength right there. 16 seconds left in the period here, and a 4-0 lead for Connor Dean of Totino-Grace. And Worley would like to get something going late in the period here, trying to at least get one, but he hasn't been able to really do much.
Nice little quick movement off the whistle, but just one move. It's one of the things you always try teaching young guys or guys at any level. It takes two moves, especially as you start getting to the high school, the varsity level. You got to put two moves together.
One takedown in each period here so far for Dean as he leads at 4-0, and Dean will start down to begin the third.
Dean with a couple little scoot there off the whistle, and then the stand up, but Worley doing a nice job picking ankles. Worley's got to look for a pin here or a turn. Dean with a switch on the whistle, but Worley does a nice job picking that ankle. Dean to his feet, some nice hand fighting. He's got to stay on the mat. See what happens there is when the bottom man goes to his feet, it's the top man's responsibility to return him to the mat. If you just push him off, that's a penalty point.
So 5-0 lead for Dean.
Uh, 50-50 position still. I don't think there's anything gained here yet by either wrestler. Worley needs to start looking for a fall here. See if he's got anything. Dean's looking for a switch.
I kind of get the feeling that Worley might be trying to just play this to keep it at a simple decision rather than a major, because he's not really been able to do much from the top, but he's trying to, use some time up too, I think.
Yeah, when it was Maple Grove's choice to start this period, and Maple Grove took top, which is typically the hardest position to score from in wrestling, unless you've really got something. The ref's watching this closely too. He wants to see him try to return them again, or he gets into caution for stalling. Just a 1-point escape. So now it's 6-0. Totino-Grace coach wants to see a major.
Yeah, and now he's got it to that 8. So he gets the takedown here and see if he'll ride him out or try and turn him here, and same result either way, probably under 20 seconds to go. Gonna keep that wrist here, and that's gonna end it this way as Connor Dean will win an 8-0 major decision for Totino-Grace. So they get off to a good start here, winning the first 2 matches.
It's Matt Beeble here.
Matt Bebo for Grace and Nick Bugajski for Maple Grove here. As we go to our 120-pound match. Nick, second year out for the sport, first year on the varsity, 6 wins for him. Matt Bebo, 14 wins, a little over 500. Been wrestling either at 20 or 26.
Well, Bebo did a nice job with it, capturing a 2-on-1, then working an outside single leg. Nice technique. Got nice and elbow deep on that. He lifted that leg up, and then with the trip.
Good patience on it to finish it too. Sometimes
Absolutely.
you get a little overexcited.
It's like Bebo's got that cross wrist. He got some good forward pressure. He's got his Bugajski, I want to make sure I say his name the right way, broken down. When I coach wrestling, I always tell the kids, don't sit still on the bottom. And nothing good happens when you're sitting still on the bottom. That's the spot when you really want to move and run and get out of there. Very taxing position. Oh, nice knee slide, stand up.
Make it 2-1 as Bugajski able to get himself out of what looked like a little trouble initially.
Ooh, Bugajski's shot with his arms out a little wide, and Bebo caught him in a cow catcher. Flipping over this to his back. This is a tough spot.
And Bebo will get the pin here with 12 seconds left to go in the first period. And you're right, once he got, the shot was kind of tailor-made for that. Kind of ran into that one, and Bebo ends up with the pin.
That's one of the techniques. You can see here, he just got it, his elbows came out wide on that double leg, and Bebo did a nice job just capturing both of those elbows, and that's no man's land right there for the fall.
Now wrestling 126 pounds for Maple Grove, Jack Herbies. For Totino-Grace, Michael Ment.
Jack Herbies for the Crimson, Michael Menth for Totino-Grace at 126. Herbies was a section champ last season, just coming back off an injury though, and just so he hasn't had a huge amount of matches, 5-2.
Well, this should be a fun match. I know Ment was a returning state wrestler also, so should be some good action.
Yeah, you like to see the, if whatever team you're pulling for, you like to see when a couple of the guys with some good experience come out and go against each other.
Absolutely. Oh, nice attempt at a duck. But this is going to be a stalemate here in a second, I bet.
Yep. Nothing much was going to be able to come out of that as Herbies countered it and got some good pressure downward with his chest. Of course, these teams are not in the same class when it comes to playoff time. Grace is in 2A, the middle size, and Maple Grove in Class 3A, although don't let that fool you in terms of quality. 2A is very tough, and the Eagles are better than most 3A teams, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Eagles were ranked as high as number 2 in the polls early in the season. I think have dropped to 5. I don't think there's a lot that separates those middle 4 or 5 teams. Still have a great shot at a potential state title this year. Well, kind of a little shot attempt there, and then Herbie's didn't see anything he liked and kind of let him back out. So neither guy has really been in a position to put the other guy in any sort of threat. I'd like to see him create some motion to try to create some sort of angle or an advantage so they can, you're going to have a hard time against a quality opponent just taking a shot straight on and scoring.
And I think both guys were a little bit cautious that period too, kind of recognizing that, okay, I'm against somebody who's gonna know what to do if I just shoot.
Yeah.
Herbie's in the down position to begin our second period here. Quickly
nice
to
job
his
with
feet.
the little tripod stand.
And trying to keep that ankle.
Ooh, nice athletic, kind of a roll through type, freestyle type crotch lift move, and did a nice job getting a 2-point takedown.
So Herbie's takes the lead, and obviously there's, you know, again, although he's going against a good opponent, there's a little bit of the feeling, I'm sure, if you're Maple Grove, okay, we need to get something going our way here. They've lost the first 3, 2 pins and a major, so Herbie's, I'm sure, kind of feeling the weight a little bit to try and get things going in their direction, even though he's got a good opponent also.
Well, he's doing a nice job with forward pressure and keeping men's forehead and elbows on the mat. So he's got a nice ride going here. He's controlling, he's looking for maybe a little cradle or got a little sitting on that back leg.
Kind of gave it up trying to improve his position, but wasn't quite able to take advantage of it.
One thing I always watch for with a bottom guy is if your forearms and your forehead on the mat, there's just nothing good that happens. And so that's kind of where you saw Ment and Herbie's was doing a nice job applying forward pressure.
Trying to get to a cradle, but doesn't really have it.
Well, this is a pretty big spot of the match, especially a match like this you think is going to be close and competitive, where Herbie's is able to get that reversal and then not be able to not give up an escape, and take a 2-0 lead going into the third period would be big. He's got a cradle locked up.
And he's going to get back points.
He's got back points
late in the period. I think it'll be 2. Yep. So 4-0 lead for Herbie's. Big lead. He about 30 seconds before that, he saw an opportunity for a cradle, but didn't quite have it until very late.
Jay, what I loved about that is he wasn't satisfied just with a 2-0 lead. He wanted to score more points and went after it and locked the cradle up. Who meant with the attempted headlock.
Slipped through and no points. Again, Herbie's been out of the lineup some too, so you wonder if conditioning will become an issue for him a little bit, perhaps.
Both guys looked a little fatigued, which is the third period of a wrestling match. I guess that's the way you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, it's kind of that fine line. I mean, you really don't want to get so gassed that you can't finish, but then again, it probably means you're not going hard enough if you're not at least a little bit.
Ment's got a 2-on-1, but poor head position, so he's a hard time scoring from there. And Herbie's did exactly what you should do, is attack that head on a 2-on-1 if he doesn't have the head, and head should be right in that chin.
And the quick shot, but sprawling was out of the way, was Herbie's. Quick stalemate call here.
Same thing, just from their feet. They haven't. Oh, I have no idea what the heck just happened there, but it was 2 points. I'm not sure the Maple Grove coached that technique. Some kids just have a feel for coming out of positions like that with points, and he's had two different flurries like that where he's done a nice job scrambling and scoring.
6-0 lead here as we're under a half minute to go in the match.
I'm seeing a leg cradle attempt. Oh my. Oh my.
Man, a quick look up at the clock, under 10 seconds to go. Herbie's going to win it, but can he score any more to get it to a major? It doesn't look like it. It's going to end at 6-0. And Herbie's gets Maple Grove on the scoreboard here as he pulls out a win against two pretty good wrestlers, and Herbie's takes it 6-0.
Pretty dominating performance, I thought, by Herbie's, too. He did a nice job. Looks like he's in a little pain.
Move to 132. Brad Osseo coming out for Maple Grove.
Nathan Downey.
Downey is sophomore, a little under 500. Osseo, meanwhile, a three-time section champion. And he's third all-time in wins for Maple Grove, 125 career wins. He was second in the state in 2013.
Osseo heavy on that head, on that little front head. Nice job getting two. He's getting back points here. Oh.
Not quite long enough.
You got that cross wrist. He's got that right arm trapped, and he's doing a nice job controlling that wrist. He's not going to let that go. There's a whole bunch of, well, I guess depends which side you're on, but there are a whole bunch of either good things or bad things that happen to you when you get your arm trapped behind your back like that. And Nathan Downey does a nice job fighting, getting that arm free. Osseo clearly looking for the fall, though.
And to lift that chin, and Downey fighting through it.
Nice lift and return.
Little tilt here, and not quite enough for back points there either, is it, or two? Yeah, he's maybe got two coming.
He's got that leg or that arm threaded. He's getting back points here. Osseo is, I guarantee you, is looking for one thing, and that's a fall. He wants those 16 points.
They'll go up 5-0 and still in position to add to it. He gets two more, now 7-0, but you're right. I think anything less, he's going to not be satisfied with.
Yeah, he's one of the finest wrestlers, I think, in the state at this weight class. He's a tough kid.
Three more back points right there for Brad. Yeah, he's been in the top 10 all season, and most recent Guillotine rankings have Brad at number 6.
Okay.
In the 3A ratings. Gets the escape and then quickly going on the attack. Sometimes it can be easier said than done. You know, Downey, you might go out and say, just don't get pinned. Well, you're facing a pretty good kid here.
You're exactly right, Jay. That's easier said than done. And Nathan's athletic kid, fairly new to wrestling, and will battle and scrap. A nice single leg attempt.
No points there as they're off the edge. Osseo thought he had two, but official says otherwise. Of course, getting to the point now where he's closing in on a tech fall here. He'd rather have the 6 than 5, yeah. But if that's all that's there, then that he'll have to live with 2.
Comes out the back door on a low double leg shot. He's going to look to try to transition this to a fall. He gets his 2. My guess is he's going to be fairly careful with how he turns Downey, just because he doesn't want to just turn him and pick up the 2. I'm sure he would like a real opportunity at a fall.
Still quite a bit of time left, 50 seconds here in the second period.
If you're Downey, you just want to move. You just want to move, 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 move. It's just a tough spot when you're out there with a hammer.
It is all part of it too, though. I mean, you know, sometimes you go feel bad for a kid or whatever. He's going up against somebody who's so good, but those are all part of learning too.
And on a match like this for Downey, you know, the victories are different. You know, his win may not be, he might not going to win the match. No one really probably expects him to win the match, but his victory may be, hey, if I only lose by 15 points, I saved a team point. I mean, that's how wrestling works when it's in the dual format.
Gonna survive the second period here, so it will be 13-0. And again, obviously, if Brad Ossechuk gets to 15, it will be a tech fall. So he would, ideally, for his sake, wanting to get, you know, all into one to try and pin him.
He's gonna dig under that arm. Oh, and he's got it.
Maple Grove not understanding why he's not allowed to finish it off and go for the pin. He's going to get a tech fall, 15-0.
That was a close call. I think the ref thought he got the 2-point takedown before he had been exposed to his shoulders. That was close. Great match, though. Dominant performance by Ossechuk. It's fun to watch him wrestle.
So the Crimson get their second win in a row to pull within 16-8.
Wrestling 138 pounds from Maple Grove, Theo G. For Totino-Grace, Camilo Castellano.
Theo G for Maple Grove, Camilo Castellanos for Totino-Grace. G, a 2-time state entrant and a team captain. He's also coming back from an injury. So this is kind of another one where Maple Grove, I'm sure, expects to come out and prevail here.
Typically in this spot is Carter Walsh, who's a pretty talented sophomore, but Carter's dealing with some injuries, so. Camilo kind of thrown into no man's land here.
G getting a quick 2 right at the edge of the mat there.
Nice stand-up by Camilo. He's doing some hand fighting. This is Camilo's first year wrestling. And talking to Doug, the coach at Totino-Grace, it's a funny story. He had actually no intention on coming out for wrestling this year. He happened to wander into the meeting room looking for a calculator. And the coaching staff talked him into coming out, and they love him. They say he's one of the hardest working guys in the room.
Well, that's a great story,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes to show you. You can just tell out here in the beginning he's eager to be out there. He's not afraid, and that's the kind of job one, I think, when you get out there.
And if I had wrestled G, I might be a little afraid. Put together kid. Nice double leg takedown by G, dumps him over his head, and now he's nice job transitioning.
Yeah, he's a strong, in a lot of ways he wrestles for a style that you might expect on a little heavier guy. A lot of double legs and very good, strength-oriented moves.
Yeah, he lift that leg, step through. That's a Turk position. He's going to come across that face. He's going to cross face. Try to pick up some near fall. Camilo was game though on the bottom. I like the fight.
G trying to pull that wrist through. And
there's another Turk. Try to hook that leg and cross face right here. You should come across. Oh, look for a half Nelson.
Back points coming, but will he have time for the fall? No. So score 2 for Theo G there, 6-1 lead, but good fight again by Castellanos to stay alive. G will defer his choice. Castellanos will choose down. G trying to be physical and was looking for a crossface and now pulling that wrist. He's got an opportunity here to throw a half in, it looks like.
You know, Camilo's just a little unorthodox on the bottom, and I think it's just throwing G off a little bit, but here he's got a bar and a fall.
You could kind of sense that if he was able to get it in deep that he was going to be able to pin him, but he was frustrated with trying to get to him, but ends up with the pin at 240. So Maple Grove battles back to within a couple points here at 16-14. Again, not really unexpected coming into the night how things have shaped up so far.
You see a nice bar, though. He did a nice short bar and did a nice job finishing chest to chest for the fall.
Totino-Grace, Will Savory.
Logan Dick for Maple Grove, Will Savory for
Quick shot
Totino.
attempt by Dick. Nice single leg. And he gets a quick 2.
Dick.
Looking for a cradle. He got a cradle locked up.
Three-time state entrant, 19-2 this year, so he comes out fast and furious.
He got 3 right off the bat. Ooh, that's a nice cradle. He's got that bottom leg hooked, which sure makes it. He's picking up back points. There's 3 more.
He's thinking cradle again here.
Yeah, he's got those long arms. Savory on the bottom in this spot. You got to control wrists, get that leg back, and try to build back up to your base. But when a guy's got a cradle, that's a tough spot.
Not going to be able to pin him very easily though, with his body in between that one shoulder.
Great point, Jay.
But keeps on racking up points here and goes up 11 zip.
He's got a nice cradle right here, though. He's got that left knee buried in that side midsection, which there's a little suicide cradle, rolls back across his own shoulders.
Three more back points coming. Now up to 14-0 one more time. That'd be a tech fall. Again, Maple Grove would, you'd rather have 6 than 5, but hard to argue with what he's been doing out there either.
It's hard to complain about 14 points in a period.
And looks like we are going to keep going through one here. 14-0 Logan Dick. Logan reached his 100th career win earlier this season.
Typically when a wrestler has his choice, they'll take the down position because that's the easiest spot to score in wrestling. But Savory saw enough of that cradle, or he said, I want to wrestle on my feet. Nice single leg attempt. See if he drops his head back out. Yep. Gets into his butt, hooks the leg, pops his head out. There's 2.
And he'll get the takedown and win it by tech fall. So Maple Grove has now won 4 in a row after the Eagles had won 3 to start it out. And Maple Grove takes the lead now at 19-16.
That's wrestling, though. You teams match up differently, and you have different strengths, and sometimes you just get on a roll and things start happening.
From Maple Grove, Robert Morgan. From Totino-Grace, John Lewis.
Robert Morgan for Maple Grove. John Lewis, a sophomore for Totino-Grace. He was a 3rd place in the section a year ago, and Robert Morgan was a place winner in sections as well. So 2 guys who aren't the elite ones, but who are pretty good. So
Yeah.
this could be an interesting one.
Well, and a lot of times matchups like, oh, beautiful short drag for a double leg attempt. Lewis turned. We're still fighting on our hands. There's a nice lift. Should get two. No, two yet, the ref says. Lewis doing a nice job scrambling out of that with a hook and a leg. Wow. That was a phenomenal job of scrambling. And Lewis is actually in position to score here.
No points despite a flurry of activity. First Morgan nearly had two, and then Lewis fighting back at the edge.
It was an explosive movement by Morgan with that short drag, and he really came in there, just didn't drop his hips quite and wasn't able to lift and finish that double. Lewis is trying to capture that Russian 2-on-1 that seems to be getting more popular in high school wrestling. He's got underhook.
Kind of surprising to be at 0-0 with as much activity as we've had in this one.
See, Lewis had the 2-on-1, but his head position isn't. Morgan's doing a nice job blocking his head, and it's just nice low single leg attempt by Morgan. Elevation, he's coming out the back door. Lewis has got an ankle though. There's nice takedown by Morgan.
Lewis quickly to his feet, though.
See what's going to happen here. Morgan's got a very nice return.
And by bringing him back to the mat, that'll enable him to keep that 2-0 lead through the first.
Those are big points. Coaches love scoring points at the end of periods, and they hate giving up 2-point takedowns at the end of periods.
It almost feels like it's extra.
It is.
Morgan's going to let him up, so 2-1. More comfortable wrestling from the feet.
Morgan doing a nice job controlling wrists. And he has good head position, a little duck attempt. Same thing, we saw this earlier in the Menth Herbie's match where, against these higher caliber athletes and wrestlers, you got to try to create angles and, a nice duck under by Lewis. Right as I'm saying that they're not moving and creating angles enough, he gets Morgan a reach and hits a duck.
Yeah, you drill moves a certain way, but then when you're out there against somebody who's seen a lot of it before, it is less straightforward than you practice it sometimes. So good matchup here, and 3-2 lead now for Lewis. 40 seconds to go in the middle period. A stalling caution on Morgan, not doing much on the bottom.
Here comes that cross wrist tilt. He's got to try to elevate a leg to try to get some near fall, and the ref says no, not quite. But same thing, Morgan's got to move. He's in no man's land. You're on your belly on the bottom. Nothing good happens. As they say that, he gets to his feet.
Still anybody's match here, certainly at 3-2 late in the second period. Both have done some good things, but you don't have the feeling that either one's really in control of this. Period will come to an end. Morgan is going to choose down, although he didn't really look like he was all that comfortable wrestling from the bottom in that period. But still, again, that's kind of the standard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things as a coach sometimes you say, you might not like wrestling on the bottom, might not be real great at it, but a lot of times it's more of a mentality than anything. And You're either going to learn to wrestle on the bottom or I'm going to keep putting you down until you do. But Morgan did a nice job there getting to his feet. Lewis has got to attempt to return him here. The ref might ding him. And there's
He
Morgan's
will get
one.
the escape, so we're even up at 3. Morgan leaning into him, trying to get him off balance a little bit. I think both guys kind of sense that, you know, next big move might very well win this one. They're being a little cautious.
Well, this is, you know, this is the third period. Guys get tired. It's like the third leg of a triathlon where, you know, it's what do you have left for that final sprint home?
About halfway through the third, and we're tied up at 3 in a pretty key matchup here with Maple Grove now up 19-16 on the team count.
Ooh, big hip toss / lateral drop.
Got his 2 right at the edge there. Bench telling him bring him back in and just ride him here. 31 seconds to go, and now a 5-3 lead for Lewis, and a big move it was.
Still plenty of time for Morgan to get to his feet, though, get his escape and a takedown. But, man, you hate to see that first movement with your head on the mat.
Yeah, he's tired. I
Yep.
don't think there's much doubt.
He's to his feet now. There's time.
Lewis trying to bring him back to the mat here, although
I don't think Lewis has had a stalling caution yet, so my guess is he's going to stand there for a little while. There he gets his stall.
and you get late enough where eventually, even if he gives up one, who cares? It'll be too late. 8 seconds, all that remain.
Nice switch attempt on the. I mean, that's beautiful movement by Morgan on the bottom. Wasn't able to quite get away.
So Lewis will pull out a nice 5-3 decision for Totino-Grace. Good, tough matchup, and it goes the Eagles' way, so they tie the team match up now at 19 apiece. We go up to 160, Will Sear for Maple Grove. Troy Seibert, a little discussion with referee right here. Brady Bertram coming out for Totino-Grace. Brady is 15-5 on the year and first at the St. Croix Lutheran tournament. And he went 4-2 at the Clash too, so he's got a pretty good resume to him. Will Sear is one of the captains. He's got 12 wins, and he was injured. He tore his ACL in the section final last year when he was a #1 seed at his weight. So that,
You hate to hear that.
yeah, that was a tough break at the end of the year for Will, but back wrestling pretty solid this year.
Bertram's a pretty well-known name in high school, Minnesota high school wrestling. His older brother was a high school state champion for Hastings. He was in a nice single leg shot, and we got a close duel, 19-19. And we're kind of coming into the strength of Totino's lineup, where they've got some hammers here up top. It'll be fun to watch these next 3 or 4 weights. Bertram digs an underhook.
Locking up high here as we're halfway through the period, no score yet. Bertram's been the more active of the two, but hasn't resulted in anything up to this point.
Same thing. Neither guy has really been able to put the other guy in much danger. Bertram had that little flurry off that one shot, and Sewer's done a nice job staying in good position. And 20 seconds left. You like to see someone go after it.
Kind of looks like Sear almost wants to be a counter wrestler, wait for Bertram to make a mistake. Now he's coming forward though. Neither guy, as you said, doing enough to get the other off balance or anything, or create an angle for a good shot. So we get through one with no score on the board. Will Sear of Maple Grove and Brady Bertram for the Eagles here. Sear will be down to start the second.
So a short little sit attempt by Sewer, and Bertram just kind of following. Same thing, you'd like to see Sewer here put a couple moves together to try to clear himself so he can get to his feet. Bertram's a game opponent. You're just not gonna get away from a guy like that just with one movement. There's a short little sit. You want to see a second move, and he's just on his elbows, head kind of down the mat.
Hard to call stalling on either because they're kind of both equally
they're not doing
much.
a lot. No, and really, I mean, two athletic guys in athletic weight. I've seen Bertram wrestle a number of times. He's an explosive, high-scoring guy, and they're just kind of looks like they're wrestling in mud out there right now. But yeah, you just heard one of the Totino coaches yell, "Get off your knees." You see Bertram back on his knees, so he's not generating enough forward pressure to really put Sewer in any dangerous position. And Sewer's he's got his elbows on the mat and kind of his head down. He's just not able to generate a lot of offense from the down position when you're in that spot either. Bertram's got that cross wrist, and that's just he's got Sewer's got to clear those wrists and get his head off the mat.
Under 10 to go in the period, and Sear tried a little roll there, but it didn't work out, so we stay at 0-0. But in a way, that's a win for Bertram, not giving up any points, when you're the top man in that period. Now I'm sure he's thinking, I'm going to at least be able to get one getting out of here. At least that's the idea anyway.
That's the idea.
Will Sear has other ideas, though.
Well, same thing. There's Bertram's forehead was on the mat, elbows are on the mat. Sewer's got good forward pressure, working that arm, that near wrist ride. Okay, he throws a leg in, and he's a little high. He's a little high. Bertram, if he pops his head out, has a great shot at a reversal right here. He's got his head out. Yep, there's two.
So Bertram gets on the board, and we'll see. Sometimes you see a match that stays scoreless for a while. Once one thing happens, that the floodgates open a little bit. We'll see if that's the case here.
All right, here you'd like to see Sewer, really get on his horse and start moving on the bottom. There he did a nice job getting hand control and getting to his feet. So here we go. It's going to be fun here, Jay.
Last 45 seconds, a 2-1 match.
Now the ref watched Bertram back up there once. I'm guessing that if he does it again, he's going to nick him for a stall warning.
It almost looked like his hand started to come up to signal that,
Yep.
and then
Here it comes.
decided against it. Sear needs to take at
Sewer
least
needs
one
to
big
come
shot
forward.
here.
Sewer needs to come forward and push and push. and just make it look like he's trying to be offensive. And at least take a shot or two, but there he's Nick Bertram.
Stalling caution there, but only 10 seconds to go now, and Bertram comes right back at him.
Now Seward needs to keep coming forward. There's a half shot attempt.
And Bertram's going to hang on. It was a close one all throughout. Not a lot of action, but he'll pull out a 2-1 win for Totino-Grace, and they go back in front now at 22-19. So it wasn't necessarily artistic, but you grind out a nice win and against a good opponent.
Yeah, that's a big win for Bertram as a sophomore. You know, you beat a tough senior and captain of the other team, and that's a big win.
For Maple Grove, Jebba Doe. For Totino-Grace, Jared Florell.
Jared Florell at 170 for Grace, and Jebba Doe for Maple Grove. Couple pretty good guys. Doe is rated 10th in Class 3A. And for the Eagles, Florell is rated 10th as well in a Class 2A.
Oh, this will be a fun one then.
Jared, a state entrant last year, 14 wins this year, a section place winner 3 times. And Doe was a section champion last year, and he's 16-6 this year. So all things considered, this should be one of the best matches of the night.
You see, they're both athletes too.
Find it, Jared. It's there. Where's your face?
Both guys just kind of feeling each other out at this point. Short drag attempt. Same thing, it's which guy can create an angle or an advantage for himself. Same thing, you know, it's just tough against a quality opponent to shoot straight through a guy's defense. You got to create motion, level changes, or an angle or an advantage with your hand fighting to. Jared's heavy on the head. There's some motion. That's what he wants. He's creating some motion, but he didn't follow it up with a shot.
Yeah, he got Doe briefly off balance there, but timing wasn't there to finish it. And looks like we're going to get through this first period with no scoring here. Doe will defer. Jared Florell will choose down for the second period. Maple Grove, the thing, you know, you look at a close duel right now, but they pretty much know that they're, the last few are going to be Totino's big, especially because of the 2 forfeits. So in reality, they needed to be ahead by now, and it's not looking like that's going to happen, but still a pretty good duel.
Absolutely. And, that's one of the things that makes Totino a little unique and kind of a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams, because you hit 170 and you have Jared ranked number 10. His brother Isaac is ranked 3rd at 182. 195, you run into all-world ranked number 1 nationally, Lance Bennick. And then Flomo, who's ranked, and the heavyweight is Sam Anderson's ranked highly too.
So Florell gets his escape here about midway through the period and takes a 1-0 lead. And those, not only are those guys pretty good, but they're good enough that even a pretty good wrestler may very well get pinned against the Florell brothers and against Bennick certainly, and Flomo, and even Sam Anderson too. So it isn't even just that you might not win; it's that you may very well give up six, 3 in a row like that.
Well, that's going to be the kind of what determines how high Totino finishes this year. I think is can the some of the young guys they have down low, and maybe some of the more inexperienced guys, can they keep it close so when their hammers come up, and start picking up bonus points, it's still close enough for them to be within reach.
Off the edge you go, 12 seconds remaining in the period. I'm a little surprised that this one's been quite as defensive as it has been. Both these guys, I think, generally are relatively action guys, and times I've seen them before anyway. But sometimes the styles kind of counteract each other too.
Yeah, really the last two matches, Bertram, it was Bertram and Sewer the last match, and this, and athletic quality wrestlers, you'd like to see them take some risks. That's you got to be willing to take a risk. You don't want to leave a match 1-0 going in the third period. A lot of things can happen.
Doe trying to get to his feet and see if he can't get out and tie it up, and he does. So 1-1, a lot of time for either of them to take some good shots here.
Do the same thing here, third period. Who's in the best shape? Whose conditioning is the best? Who's willing to make themselves uncomfortable? Really. Both guys look like they're fit. Need to look real fatigued, but someone's got to take a risk here.
It looks like Doe trying to set up a throw here, but it's just not developing.
Yeah, he's not able to get inside. Doe does a nice job hand fighting, doing a nice job with wrist control and tying up hands. Floral's in deep on a single leg attempt. He's trying to drop down on that ankle. He's elbow deep. Oh, great defense and athleticism by Doe. And he scrambles out of a tough spot to get a 2-point takedown. Wow.
And Florell nearly rolled through there. So Doe now leading at 3-1, but still time to go.
Doe showing some great hips. He's in a tough spot, one leg up in the air and battles through it. Granby by Jared. There's a 1-point escape.
3-2, and Florell needing a takedown to seize the lead back here.
Florell in on a single leg attempt. He's trying to cut across, but gets extended against a great athlete in Doe, and Doe does a nice job, staying in good position at great balance. I mean, 2 different times with a Florell in on a deep single leg shot attempt, and Doe just does a nice job battling out.
So 5-2 lead now for Doe, only 5 seconds to go. And time's gonna run out, so Jebba Doe pulls out a close one here, 5-2 for Maple Grove. And that'll even us up at 22 apiece up on the team count. Isaac Florell will come up next for Totino-Grace.
Now wrestling at 182 pounds for Maple Grove,
Quinn Anderson for the Crimson. So this one definitely one that on paper looks like to be a Totino win, and Isaac Florell quickly in. 2-time state entrant, 4th place in the state in the past, 19-4. And he is, as Rick said, rated number 3.
He's looking for a fall. I'm certain that's what the coaches have told him is, hey, we need some points.
Anderson has 8 wins this year, and he did place in sections last year, but certainly an underdog in this one, no doubt about that. I mean, you don't come in for moral victories, but I think to a large extent Maple Grove probably feels pretty good that they're, have against a very quality opponent to have this match where it is right now.
They've done a terrific job.
And obviously, as we said, both teams have, not quite exactly the lineup they'd like to have in there either because of injuries. So, we saw earlier, of course, missing Carter out of the Totino lineup, and Carter Walsh, and also, you know, at the top, Maple Grove's got a pretty good heavyweight that's not able to wrestle tonight too. So
it would have been a fun matchup to see. Anderson's got Floral's leg. He was throwing the leg in with that 3/4 Nelson and picked up a few back points, but that leg got out there and a little high. Anderson's done a nice job fighting here. He had the leg captured, and then he's still, Floral's high. Anderson let go of that ankle when he had it captured, and maybe a tactical error. He's doing a nice job battling on the bottom.
So we will reach the end of the period here. 7-0 lead for Isaac Florell for Totino-Grace. Quinn Anderson kind of getting dominated, but hanging in, making him work at the very least.
Isaac with a short sit, and that's what you kind of, those guys, when you look, do that. Oh, he's got him on his back.
And there's the pin. Wow.
When you hit that short little sit, that's what you're looking for. You're either looking for the guy to reach over the top of your shoulder so you can roll out, or you're looking for a head, and he found the head, and that's a tough spot to be in when you're the guy that was behind him. See, he found the head. You find the head, you're in trouble. The body goes where the body follows the head, puts him right to his back for a fall.
We go to 195 now. Jason Chisato-Rodvik, and he is going against one of the very best wrestlers in the country, Lance Bennick, 3-time state champion for Totino-Grace, Arizona State signee, ranked #1. His list of accomplishments fill up the page.
Yeah, we could probably talk about that for about the next 10 minutes. Also, the quarterback of the runner-up. Oh, big guys aren't supposed to move like that. He had a wrestling off the elbow. He tried a little boot scoot. Slide by attempt.
Chisato-Rodvik did place in the section a year ago, and you know, has had an okay season this year too. But it takes a little shot here.
Yeah, good for him. I'm not backing up. I'm not afraid of you.
Well, really, once you really get down to it and realize the worst thing that can happen is I get pinned. Big deal, you know. I mean, not that it isn't a big deal, but once you get it out of your head that, you know, it's not like he's going to come out and,
as we say, that Bennick locks up a tight cradle. Buries that knee in the side. That flattens the shoulders out.
And there's the pin. He's good enough that probably someday Jason's going to be able to tell people, yep, I went against Bennick at some point, you know. And so Bennick gets the fall, and Totino-Grace gets the second straight victory. They go up 34-22, and I think that is going to be our last match of the night.
Yeah, you see Bennick here did a nice job squaring up his hips. Comes around for the takedown, and then right away you see him come with a hard cross face. Grabs right above that elbow. There it is, right above the elbow, locks the hands up. And he loves that cradle. He buries that underneath knee in the side after he picks up his back points, and that flattens that shoulders out just like that. And that's a fall by a world-class athlete right there.
And our last two matches forfeits. Totino-Grace gets the wins. Kez Flomo and Sam Anderson get their hands raised, as Maple Grove without their heaviest guys because of injury. So Grace pulls away to win it 46-22. But Rick, certainly an entertaining dual meet here. We saw a lot of great matches along the way in Maple Grove, you know, keeping it 22 all until fairly late. A lot of things to like on their part, but the Eagles, again, very tough at the top.
Yeah, it was kind of a story of just runs. You know, Totino won the first 2 or 3 matches, and then you kind of hit the meat of Maple Grove's lineup, and with some really solid, tough kids, and they did a nice job. Some tough matches there through the middle weights, and all the way up to 170. And then, that just ended up, it was just a little too much firepower up top. And like you said, missing the heavyweight, that would have been a fun matchup to see. But a great duel all around. I enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Rick, for helping out tonight. And that'll do it for tonight's match here from Totino-Grace. Our final score, the Eagles 46, the Crimson 22. Good night from Totino-Grace High School.